Hello viewers, my name is Raj and welcome back to my channel. So I'm back again with a new video. So this is a new video in complete placement preparation series, and today we'll solve this particular problem from LeetCode platform, which is majority element, which is numbered as 169, and it is categorized as easy problem. So let us see what the problem states. So the problem states that we are going to get a we are going to get a array of numbers of the size n. So there will be n numbers, and we have to find the majority element. So the criteria for finding the majority element is given as lower bound of n by 2. So let's say if I have 8 elements, then the n by 2 will be 4. So if we have, let's say, odd number of elements, let's say 9. So if I divide 9 by 2, what I get is 4.5, right? So but I will take the lower bound of it, so I will take 4. So this is for integer operations. So we want to get the maximum repeated items, which is as a criteria of n by 2. So if you see in this particular example, we have given two test cases. So 3, 2, 3. So if you divide 3 by 2, so 3 by 2. So what I get is 1.5. So if I take the lower bound, I get 1. So I need to get the element which is at least 1, which has at least 1 times repeated. So in this particular example, the 3 is the answer. Similarly, if you see the second example, we have around 7 elements, and if I divide by 2, 7 by 2 is nothing but 3. The lower bound is 3. So we have to find the element which has at least 3 times repeated. So at least 3 means it can be 3 or 3 or more. So in this particular example, we can see it is not at least, it is greater than. So it is greater than, not equal to. So we need at least more than 3. So for more than 3, we have only one element, which is 2. So which is repeated 4 times. So how to solve this particular thing? So let us try to think about the solution, and what process can we incorporate to solve this particular thing. So if I see this particular array, the naive approach or the first approach that comes to my mind is to take one element, let's say 2, the first element, fix this particular thing uh, as the best or the most repeated candidate, and check in the rest of the array if it is, how many times it is repeated, right? So count the particular instances including this particular one, and then save it to, let's say, a variable which is max. Let's say the instance is 4, right? Similarly, I will go in the next iteration, I will take this particular 2 value and I will repeat the same. So again I get max equals to 4. Then I will take 1, then I will take which will have a maximum repetition value, which is 3. Similarly, we'll have for another one, and the rest of elements. So if you see, it will simply incorporate 2 for loops, and we'll fix one particular element and we will check in the rest of the array. So this approach is a naive approach, and this is the this particular approach is usually comes to mind for a beginner who is just trying to code this particular thing in a simple way. So this is in time complexity, this is an order of n square solution, precisely because we are checking each and every possibility of a number being the majority element, right? So, and if there is no problem of space complexity, because we are only taking one or two variables which are of constant time. So space complexity is not an issue, but time complexity is an issue. So this was the first approach, but we are trying to upgrade this particular thing, improvise this to get more efficient one. So let's go towards the next approach. So since we always want to keep the count of the elements into the account, so if you see the previous approach, what we are doing, we are just counting the instances of each and every element, right? Or to be precise, each and every unique element. So we have to do this in a better way. So some of the guys came up with the approach of using hash map. Hash map is nothing but the mapping or the key value pairs. If you are using Python, then it is simply known as dictionaries. So basically what this particular approach says is simply loop through all the variables, all the elements from 1 to n. Okay. and see if this particular value is seen or not. So if I start from the first variable, I will check if 2 is seen or not. So 2 is not seen at this particular time. So I will save 2 as the count of 2 as 1. And then I will go towards the next element. Next element is again 2. So I will increment this particular 1 count to 2 count. I will go to the third element, which is 1. I will take 1 as it is. And then I will have increment the value of 1, the count of 1 as 1. Again, I will encounter 1. So I will increment this count to 2. And then in the next iteration to 3. Now we have two more 2s. So I will increment this value to directly 4. So this is the hash map that we have. So the final hash map has 2, 4 and 1, 3. Now if we find the highest count, it is of order of n only. So basically we'll get the answer as 2 because 2 has the highest number of count. So if you see this, the order of time complexity is order of n, right? So time complexity is reduced from n squared to n. But the space complexity, we have somehow compromised on that. So the space complexity is now order of n. Because we are saving a dictionary or we are saving it in a hash map, so the space complexity will be of at max order of n in case we have all the elements which are unique. But that is not going to happen because there will be at least one element which is going to be the majority element. So, but we can consider this as order of n because n by 2 or n by 3 is always order of n. It is considered as order of n. So this was this intermediate approach. So how can we reduce the space complexity to 1? That is one such headache. So let's move on to the next approach. So the next approach says this: if we carefully see what we are trying to achieve is the we want to get the highest number of elements, right? So what could be the case? So if I want to get the majority element, so that will be repeated at most like n by 2 times, right? More than at not at most, more than 2 n by 2 times. So the frequency so of this particular element will be very high. So if I sort this particular array, what I get is 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 2, and 2, right? So this is index 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Right? So if I sort this particular thing, then I can easily get my answer. Because if I sort this particular thing, and if I check the n by 2 plus 1 element, which is, let's say, if we divide 7 by 2 in integer operation, I get 3. So if I check the fourth element and the 2th element, or the second element at the second index or the fourth index, I can easily get if what is the majority element. So since here 2 is the majority element, I can simply return 2, right? So this approach seems fine, very easy. We have to just apply a sorting algorithm. But what could be time complexity in this case? So that time complexity is order of n log n. And in terms of space complexity, it depends on which sorting algorithm we use. So if I use merge sort, then it will be order of n. But if I use some other sorting algorithm which can guarantee me order of n log n time, it will be order of 1, it will be turned to order of 1, right? Because the sorting algorithms which do in place sorting, there is no need to have an extra space. It will only be constant constant order, right? So this is the third approach, which is of sorting based. So but still the problem persists. Either we are compromising on time or on space. So these approaches are good but not the efficient one. We want an approach which has to be order of n in time and order of 1 in space. So we want these two combinations for time complexity and for space complexity. So we need to achieve this particular thing, but till now we are not able to achieve this. So the final approach or the last approach that I'm going to state or explain is going to achieve both of this criteria. So that is why I told whole this story to make you understand how important is to improvise and showcase your talent, that you can think beyond a certain limit. So the next or the last approach is known as Boyer Moore voting algorithm. Vote algo. So this is a voting algorithm that was found by Boyer and Moore. I don't know precisely about them, but this is the algorithm name of the algorithm. So what the algorithm states is this is simply based on counting of instances to be precise. And but if we see if we want to manage a count of each and every element, that is very hard and we need space for that, right? That we saw in the hash map approach. But this algorithm particular works on a principle in a very smart way, that we count the instances of the majority element only without even maintaining the count for other unique elements. So that is the beauty of this particular thing. So what we do in this particular algorithm is we have to define two variables. One is count and another is candidate. So count specifically, as the name suggests, it maintains the count of the maximum value, or sorry, the majority value element, and candidate is nothing but a variable which will store the majority element or the candidate which can be a majority element, right? Because we have to figure out, we have to try for each and every element that it may or it may not be the majority element, right? So that is the case. So initially it will be initialized to none or null, basically, for whatever language you use. This will be the initialization parameter, so none or null. So what we have to do is we have 2, 2, 1, 1, 1, and 2, 2. So since we have initialized with count equals to 0 and candidate as equals to null, so I will do is, if the count is 0, right? If the count is 0, then I will consider the current element, which is 2, the first 2, as my candidate for checking if it is the majority or not. So I'm using candidate equals to, I'm going to assign candidate equals to 2, and I will move towards the next iteration. Okay, since now the candidate is not 0 or the count is not 0, count will be turned to 1. Okay, so now in the next iteration, while I am checking for this particular value, what I will compare is, since count is not equals to 0, I will remove that particular condition. I will check if the current element, which is 2, is equals to candidate or not. I will check this condition. If 2 is equals to candidate, so basically if I am checking if this element belongs to the majority element or not. So if this is the case, then I will simply increment the count. I will increment the count to 2. So basically I am uh, trying to get the best majority candidate using this condition. Okay. And then since we have received processed this 2, I will move forward to this one. Okay. So since in this case we will get is 1 is not equals to 1, 1 is not equals to candidate. Okay. So in this case, what will happen? 1 is not equals to 2. Then I will to simply decrement this particular count. So if I decrement this particular count, the value of my count will be, a second. Okay, so the value of my count will be 1, back to 1, from 2 to 1. Similarly, if I process, so basically the idea is, uh, whenever you get an element which is not equals to candidate, just decrement the value until and unless it becomes 0. And whenever the value of the count becomes 0, you take the current element as the candidate. So this may sounds weird, but when we try to code this particular thing, you will get to know that why I have done this. So in this at this particular moment, when we are trying to process this particular value, after this value, the count becomes 0. Okay, count will be 0. And now when we try to process this particular item, what I get is count is 0. So I will reassign the candidate as 1. Okay, and the count will be initialized to 1. So when I reach this particular item, the count will again turn to 0, and candidate will be 1 for now. And when we reach the final element, I get the count equals to 0. So I will turn my candidate to from 1 to 2, and count will be incremented to 1. So when we after processing all the elements, we just have to simply check what is the value of this particular candidate. So whatever the value of the candidate is at the end of the iterations, it is the majority element. Okay, so let's try to code this thing and see if our code or our logic works or not. So first of all, I'll define the count, which is 0, candidate, which is equals to none. So none is a Python specific keyword. So if you are using C, C++, you can use null in capital. So now I will try and iterate through all the values of nums. If I first of all, I will check if count is equals to 0 or not. If count is equals to 0, then candidate equals to num, oh sorry, not num, I, and count is equals to uh, 1. Okay, and say if this is not if the count is not equals to 0, then I will check if I is equals to candidate or not. So if I is equals to candidate, then what I have to do is I will simply increment the count. And if the current value is not equals to the candidate that we are trying for, then simply decrement the count. Okay, and this will do the end return at the end, return the candidate that we have figured out at the end of iteration. So the code is very simple. We have a count as 0, candidate as none. I will process the element one by one. I will check if count is equals to 0 or not. It will be double equals to 0. If the count is 0, then take the current element as the candidate and increment the count to 1. And if the count is not equals to 0, then check if the current element is equals to candidate or not. If the current element is equal to candidate, then update the count, else decrement the count. And if you do this again and again and again, and if you try to dry run it on paper, you will get to know that we are actually figuring out what the majority element is. So let's try to run this thing. So this is working fine for this test case. Let's try to work on this particular thing. This is working fine for this as well. Let's try to submit this thing. So this is working fine, 39%. So this is the best approach. So the this particular percentage might vary by your single if and else statement. So don't worry about that. But it is very efficient in terms of space. So that is a good thing. And you can try out different algorithms and test how much efficient your code is. You can try out this hash map thing. That will also be accepted. You can try out that sorting thing. That will also be accepted. So try to work on those examples. If you like the content, please like it, share it, and subscribe it. And don't forget to click the bell icon. You can reach out to my social media handles, and you can also comment down in the comment section. So I will be coming up with more such videos. So till then, this is Raj signing out.